Alright guys, welcome to another beer review, and today it's Sunday, so hashtag Stout Sunday. Yeah, apparently I've started doing that now, uploading stout reviews on Sundays, even though I'm probably sure I'll just upload stout reviews during the week whenever I have them. Anyway, yeah, so this is one that I had intended on saving for this upcoming Christmas, but then I realised I've got so much, beer in big bottles recently that I'm not just going to casually open. So I'm going to save those till Christmas and probably just end up buying beers for Christmas, close to Christmas, to avoid a situation like this where I open them long before Christmas. So, going to be having a look at the Fuller's Imperial Stout. Now, I got this when I was in Birmingham earlier this year, when I met up with Harry, Jake, Rob, Stu, Dean, Craig, the gang. And we went to a Fuller's pub in Brum, where they were actually serving the Imperial Stout on tap for a ridiculously cheap price, and it was ridiculously gorgeous. So while I was there, I picked up a bottle of I think this is the 2018 vintage. I will have to have a quick look. Let me see. So yeah, I think it is 2018 vintage. But I picked this up and a bottle of the Grand Reserve as well. In fact, let me get that. Now, I think I paid a little bit more than you would get for this if you got it from Waitrose. But I never see any of the Brewers Reserve stuff too much. So I picked this up, this was the Oak Aged Ale, matured for 500 days in fine old whiskey casks at 6.5%. So I picked these both up, and I think together they came to about 10 to 12 quid. So I wasn't going to grumble because, yeah, I don't have access to Waitrose or anything like that. Although I think booths sometimes stock the vintage ale and the Imperial Stout. But yeah, I don't get to get them that often. Do you know what I mean? And I don't get to go to those places. So I'm happy to pay a few quid more, and get it directly from a pub, even though at the time they were in the middle of being taken over. But I don't care about that sort of stuff. I really don't. As long as the beer isn't compromised, I really don't give a shit who owns you. Do you know what I mean? I mean, look at Magic Rock, still producing the best coffee porter for me, or at least, yeah. I mean, Magic Rock still has a fantastic core range. Yeah, but you're funding a dictatorship's army and stuff like that. It's I don't fucking care. Yeah, they're not going to do much with the couple of quid that I spend on their beers. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, so this is the Imperial Stout, and the reason why I'm opening this is because Harry picked up the more recent version, or this year's version. Harry, of course, Blue Nose Beer Reviews. So I thought, fuck it. It was implanted in my mind to pick it, to actually open it, because I've had it for nearly a year now. And it doesn't actually say. I mean, I'm sure it's saying the best before is 2027. So could it be the 2017 vintage? I'm not too sure. It doesn't really give you any hints as to what the year is, to be honest. Which is a little bit annoying now I'm thinking about it, or I'm just completely missing it. But yeah, it's an Imperial Stout at 10.7% ABV. So I'll quickly read what it says on the beautiful little presentation box. So brewed in the traditional style that became a favourite of the Russian royal court, this Imperial Stout has been specially created as a limited edition. In a unique addition to the historic recipe, the floral character of the Centennial hops is enhanced by the inclusion of rosebuds, lending a hint of Turkish delight flavour to the beer. The Imperial Stout has a rich, dark appearance with strong chocolate and deep cherry notes, which lead to a lighter, bitter finish. Can't speak today. This beer is bottle conditioned and will therefore form a natural sediment, so pour carefully and enjoy this uniquely crafted beer from Fuller's, brewed by the head brewer, or former head brewer, I believe, because I think it's, can't remember her name. Wow, this video's a car wreck already. But, yeah. Still nowhere near to finding out what the actual vintage of this is, but 10.7% ABV. I'm not sure if it changes from year, if the recipe differs or that sort of thing, or if they just brew this one recipe every year. But yeah, beautifully presented, as you would expect. I've got a lot of time for Fuller's. I have been eyeing up London Pride again, so I'll have to pick some of those up. But you don't really see too much of the bottled stuff, aside from like the strong ale that is at 1664. I can't remember what it's called. That London Pride, ESB every now and then. Some of the other sort of like pale ales and that sort of thing. But, you know, I never see London Porter, and I really want to try that because I've heard so much about it. I want to try Golden Pride. I want to try Bengal Lancer. There are so many beers from Fuller's that I still want to try. So, yeah, anyway. Beautifully presented. Nice label on the actual cap of the bottle. And I've just ripped it, so I can't preserve that. But oh well, I've got a nice label anyway. And then you've got the, well, there should be the Griffin sort of logo on there. So yeah, Stout Sunday. Now a thing on the Clueless Drinker channel. I was either going to open this or an ice distilled Imperial Stout, and I wasn't really in the mood for that. So yeah, let's get this opened and see what we get. Of course, the vintage will be included in the title and the description, as well as the review links. So yeah, I'm sure I'll be able to find out what vintage it is. But beer in the glass then, and yeah, that's looking really nice. I wish I actually nabbed one of the Imperial Stout glasses, because it was like a Fuller branded glass like this, snifter. But I don't steal glasses. I don't steal multiple glasses at all, and I'm not the bane of a craft beer bar. But yeah, jet black in appearance. Yeah, holding up to the light. Yeah, pretty much jet black. Half a finger's worth for tan head. Dissipated quite quickly. It poured with like an upper medium feel, but it's got like a sort of syrupiness to it when it's in the glass. It looks lovely, although I do need to get more glasses of this style, because how many times are you going to see Biere di Noel? I know I've not said that correct. That's sounding more like an Italian accent. Biere di Noel. That just sounds like a over-the-top stereotypical allo allo French accent. Anyway. Oh, yes. Turkish delight, definitely. Probably wouldn't have said that if I didn't read it on the label, so scratch a point off people who review my reviews. But yeah, chocolate, coffee, sort of like a slightly scorched chocolate cake. The rose, it's definitely there, but it's not too much. It's smelling like, you know when you open a big thing of Quality Street? That's what it's reminding me of. There's a very subtle booziness on the nose, which, to be honest, with every beer masking alcohol ridiculously well, I think it's a good thing that you can actually detect, yeah, the ABV. But yeah, it smells nice and decadent. There's a little bit of a woody char character, but ever so slight. But yeah, it's smelling damn good. It really, really is. So let's give it a taste. Cheers. The thing that I'm loving about this is the simplicity of it. Upper end of medium mouthfeel, but has a velvetiness to it. It's not a sludge bomb by any stretch. It doesn't say it's going to be a sludge bomb. It's not intended to be a sludge bomb. It's based on an old school recipe, and it's an old school Imperial Stout, which not a lot of people seem to brew anymore. It's all about the adjuncts. It's all about the sludge. It's all about the, you know, the pastry element and that sort of thing. But this is just... oh, it's just so good. It's so nice. Not really getting the rose on the flavour. And there's not really a floral character. I think it's more of a... it has more aromatic qualities, I would say. I'm even getting like a little bit of licorice in there. Maybe a hint of honeycomb. Reminds me of like a crunchy bar, which I've not had for years. Bourneville chocolate as well. There's a woodiness there. I'd say the ABV is more noticeable on the nose as opposed to the flavour. You get that slight warming sensation as it's going down into the pit of your stomach. Lovely finish on the back end. Licorice comes out. There's a very subtle sweetness. There are bitter characters in there, but I'd say it's more of like a plain chocolate cake. Do you know what I mean? Before you've started like icing it and adding all sorts to it. The more I'm drinking it, the more I'm getting a pronounced licorice. And I'm really enjoying that. That's good. That's so nice. I'm almost wishing I'd have actually kept this for like Christmas or, you know, New Year's Eve, that sort of thing. Perfect, perfect New Year's Eve beer. But you know what? On a Sunday, on the 17th of November, it's going down well. It really is. It's an old school Imperial Stout. And it's done so well. It really is. A little bit more savoury characters coming as it's breathed in the glass. Yeah, there's a reason why people love this beer. And I'm so glad that it only comes out once a year. That sounded like something from a Wordsworth poem, didn't it? Because it rhymed. Yeah, the predominant flavour I'm picking up now, which is very welcomed in my opinion, is almost like a peated licorice. I wonder what that would be like if you actually smoked like licorice with wood chips. Does anybody actually manufacture smoked licorice? Because that's what I'm getting now. And I really like it. I've not had that flavour in an Imperial Stout before. It's like blackcurrant licorice. There's a cordial that I had absolutely ages ago, which is a blackcurrant licorice cordial from like a farm shop nearby. And this is what it's reminding me of. Especially that sort of like that viscosity you get from a cordial. Do you know what I mean? Before you've added the water to dilute it. Yeah, this is a perfect beer for cold winter nights as it gets dark at like 6 o'clock, if not earlier. And yeah, if I'm actually anywhere near where I can pick up a few bottles of this, I'm happy to pick up 1 or 2 bottles and save them for Christmas. Because it's a Christmassy, festive beer. It's very festive. And if I was opening this in the middle of summer, I'd probably still say the same thing. Do you know what I mean? So it's not just the power of persuasion. It's just a damn good classic Imperial Stout. And I wish more breweries of the sort of like new wave craft who can brew beautiful, pastry stouts. It'd be great to have some of those guys produce something like this. I mean, stuff like Even More Jesus is a great example of like a classic, although a contemporary version of a classic Russian Imperial Stout. But this is just absolutely bang on. I really cannot pick any faults with this at all. It's presented beautifully. It's got a real sense of occasion to it. And yeah, I probably paid a couple of quid more than I should have. But I'm not going to be too upset about that. And if I'm in, anywhere near a Waitrose or a Booths, I'd probably pick up another couple of bottles as well as this year's vintage ale. Yeah, lovely stuff. Absolutely lovely stuff. 10 out of 10 from me. It's just so nice to have just a classic, simple example of a hearty, robust Imperial Stout. Do you know what I mean? Lovely, lovely stuff. 10 out of 10. I can't fault it. I really can't fault it. It's not as decadent as what I had on tap in the Fuller's pub, because that was just, that was mind-blowing. Really, really was. And for like less than £2.30 for like 2/3, it's like, ugh, are you kidding me? You don't get that quality of beer for that cheap in most places. So yeah, pick this up if you come across it. Spend a couple of quid more than you probably want to. Definitely worth it. Drink it that night, savour it, or maybe, save it for a half a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the line. Because you're going to invest in a really high quality classic example. And just like me with German beers, I'm injecting a not so subtle hint of romanticism in this review. So yeah, I'm absolutely loving this. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It really, really is. So if you tried it, let me know your thoughts, opinions down below. What's been your favourite vintage of this? Do they change from year to year? I'm not too sure. Is it just one set recipe and they just brew a limited batch? I'm really glad that they don't brew this all year round, because it's just nice to be able to pick up something like this without breaking the budget too much, and you've got an absolutely gorgeous drinking experience. It's what it's all about at the end of the day. Because I know there'll be comparable beers that you'll spend 2 to 3 times more on, and you don't have to if you can get hold of this in your local vicinity. Of course, guys in the States, you're probably going to end up paying a little bit more for this, and we all know that American breweries, like Great Divide, Evil Twin, even are they really American? They're because the Gypsy Wing, they've got premises in America, but do you know what I mean? Like what's the other one? Rasputin and that sort of stuff. The beer. Americans know how to brew like very good traditional British styles. And yeah, so what are some of your favourite like classic, big, bold Russian Imperial Stouts that don't mess around with adjuncts, that don't mess around with flavourings, that don't, tweak and tinker? What are some of your favourite like classic British Imperial Stouts? Because I really want to get my hands on some. And there are some great examples that I've had, but this is just Fuller's. It's just what I want from Fuller's. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure the likes of Paul from PA Brew News will definitely agree with me on that one. Almost getting like burgundy sort of characters, like fortified wine character now. It just keeps changing. The beer just keeps developing and developing now. Anyway, 10 out of 10. Fantastic stuff. Hashtag Stout Sunday. What are you drinking on this fine day? And yeah, are you a fan of this beer? Are you a fan of Fuller's? What's your favourite Imperial Stouts? Let me know in the comments. Cheers for watching, and I'm sure my food's going to be ready now. Cheers.